All right, man, let's get through the list here. Abdul Carter, number one for both of us here. What do you like about Abdul Carter? And you said, hey, maybe he's closer to some of the other prospects. Why is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously he's got this interesting story where he's kind of done the Micah Parsons transition, but already in college. He
Yeah.
went from being an off the ball linebacker to being a true edge defender. And this was really his first season doing that. And even within that first season, you can see impressive development. Like he's done the learning already early in the season. He didn't know what was happening. Like his awareness for blocks coming from places that weren't right in front of him was zero. Was it West Virginia?
Yeah.
West
Week
Virginia, I
one.
think,
Yep.
kept having these tight ends just coming across the formation and wiping them out. And he every single time ran right into it, never knew it was coming, like just blindsided. Late in the season, you're seeing games where similar blocks, he understands it. Like he knows where that block is coming from. He's now attacking it with the correct shoulder, with the correct form. He's improved his fundamentals and his awareness all within the course of one season. So that's a really encouraging thing. Yes, the sample size is low, but we've already seen this growth and development within one season of coaching at that. But he's got, incredibly impressive quick twitch explosion, like the stuff you want to see, the burst, the explosion, the quick twitch ability. He's really good at that stuff. That jumps out of the tape. I think he's pretty strong as well. Like he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he does have power. He does have strength. He's not someone that's just going to get washed out immediately from being an undersized edge defender. So yeah, I think his first step, his lateral agility, all the toolsy things are there. But I don't think he's this sort of amazing, like maybe it's just a product of this draft, but like the conversation of being number one overall of, I don't think he's up there with like the best edge defending prospects we've seen in the last, 10 years.
And so the best edge prospects we've seen in the last 10 years, that includes Myles Garrett, the Bosas, Will Anderson, Aiden Hutchinson, Chase Young, even though of all that group, all of those guys hit, except maybe Chase Young, you would say, didn't really live up to the hype. Those are the best edge prospects. I might be missing one or two off the top of my head, but those are the guys. And we might put even Latu in there. And in hindsight, probably should have put Jared Verse, and, he had a similar pedigree. But either way, those are the guys you're talking about. I understand that argument, but the point that you started with was this is his first year truly playing on the edge. When you watched Abdul Carter in 2023, he's more of an off-the-ball linebacker. Most of his pass rushes were either blitzes or walked up into the A gap or the B gap. Every now and again, they'd put him on the edge, and you could say, okay, I know they're moving him to edge here in 24. They're doing the Micah Parsons move, as you said, in college instead of at the NFL level. I see the traits, but he doesn't know what he's doing yet. And honestly, when the season started, I was like 3-4 weeks into it. I felt like I was going to be the guy that, always does this. Oh, you think this edge rusher is so good? We'll talk about one of those guys later. He's not. He's just not productive yet. He doesn't know what he's doing. I really thought I was going to be lower on Abdul Carter after a few weeks into the season because it was like how he hasn't made this transition yet. He doesn't know what he's doing yet, but you could see the growth. And this is why I think you can put Abdul Carter into the same prospect bucket as the Bosas, as Chase Young, as Will Anderson and Aiden Hutchinson and those top guys. Because I think by the end of the season, he was playing at that level. And you can assume other growth because he's only played on the edge for that 1 year. His burst, his bend, you mentioned the power. I think he'll get a little better against the run. Seeing the run game a little bit better. But I think he has all the tools necessary to rush the passer. And when we talk about rushing the passer, it can't just be the burst and the get off and, getting to 8 or 9 yards as fast as you can. There has to be some sort of power component. There has to be some sort of inside counter component. And I think Abdul Carter has the ability to do all that. So early in the season, I thought, this might be the next projectable pass rusher that's talked about going in the top 5 or 10. Those guys are risky. When we talk projectable for pass rushers, to me, that's as risky as taking a Jack Sawyer, who didn't work out, but taking a low, terrible workout guy. If projecting a pass rusher is just as dangerous as hoping that the bad athlete just out athletes people at the NFL level. It's just as bad. But so I thought Abdul Carter could go that route, but I don't. But by the end of the season, he didn't. So I was sold on him as edge one, sold on him as a blue chip player, and think that he will continue to progress because of just 1 year playing on the edge matters, and I think he just showed that development throughout the season.
All right, that's enough of that, Steve. Over 50% of the people listening to this are not subscribed right now. So click that button, and then we can get back to whatever it is Steve's telling you about. Yeah, the development was really impressive. I mean, through the first 3 weeks of the season, he hadn't had a particularly good PFF graded game. And that was, usually the first few weeks of your season for a lot of teams are against like the lower level of competition, right? So it's West Virginia, Bowling Green, and Kent State. Like that is not an A-list tier of opponents over those first few weeks. And he had 2 pressures, and 1 pressure, albeit that pressure being a sack. So like, through 3 weeks, you're looking at this and like, this is not productive. We're talking about a prospect and a project. And against that first game on the edge against West Virginia, when all those blocks were just annihilating him, he had a run defense grade of 50. Like this was not good for the first few weeks. But then, you're right. Like after that, 1, 2, 3 games with a 90+ pass rushing grade, multiple games with 8 pressures. He really did become that guy and put a ton of pressure out there. So, look, I really like him. I think he is the number 1 pass rusher in this draft. He's the one guy where the composite of all the pass rushing skills is there, right? He's got the explosion, the quick twitch. His first step into gaps is nuts. Like he beats a lot of linemen, almost like a wide receiver with a release package, where you can completely wrong foot the guy and then get into the space you've opened up. He's able to do that with like offensive linemen where they have him, moving around or lined up inside, and he's just able to completely wrong foot these guys and attack the gap. He's got really good lateral agility, like a really sick kind of Euro step to win blocks outright and get into gaps. He's got the dip and the bend to get around the corner and really, run that hoop that teams love to see. So I think he's the cleanest sort of composite of pass rushing skills, along with the kind of resume of having done it at least for the majority of the season.
Yeah, in that same growth, I think in everything you just described as a pass rusher, I think you saw similar growth in the run game. He's not going to be Verse. When you describe Jared Verse, you're like, this dude sets a hard edge. He's a power player. I don't even know if Carter ever gets to that point. He's not a power, hard edge setting type, but he knows how to win blocks with agility, knows how to shed blocks, does have to be alert for the pullers. I love watching edge rushers take on pullers, wrong arm them, box them, do all the things that you're supposed to do. I think a lot of that stuff will come with time, but he definitely showed that growth last year at Penn State.
And he's got a lot of room for development as well. Like we'll talk about some guys where the projection is, well, how much better can they be in the NFL because they weren't particularly productive in college? For Abdul Carter, I mean, his move set, his toolbox is not particularly diverse. He has a couple of ways that he wins, right? But he does not have, like you talk about a guy like Latu last year. That guy had one of the broadest tool sets, like the number of ways he had to win in terms of technique, the number of pass rushing moves that he had was amazing. Carter's only got a couple. Like think how much better he can be when he develops like 3 or 4 more pass rushing moves. Like, and unlike other guys where you can make a similar argument later on, he's already been a dominant, productive pass rusher. Like he had 60-something pressures last season with only a couple of ways to win effectively from a technique standpoint. So if we start, stocking his toolbox with 3 or 4 more pass rushing moves that he's comfortable with, I mean, that should theoretically be an amazing potential that is untapped so far. I think that's like an underrated part of Abdul Carter's projection to the next level is he's already really productive. He's already really good, but he's not that refined yet. Obviously, having been, only playing the position for a year, what happens to his game when you add 2 or 3 more pass rushing moves to him?
Yeah, I completely agree. So I think he's already productive. There's some projectability. As we get into your number 2 edge rusher, I just want to bring up the point. I think Carter is also going to be good in today's NFL, where I've mentioned on a few different shows, I'm leaning a little bit more toward if you're athletic and able to shed blocks, handle scrambling quarterbacks. I just tweeted out the stat earlier today about there's just a higher percentage of passes from outside the pocket now versus 3 or 4 years ago. it's incrementally going up. It's not a complete game changer, but it's enough of a game changer that I need somebody, I think, that can play contain, that can mix in a spy every now and again, that can track down scrambling quarterbacks. Abdul Carter has that.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.